Your phone slips from your fingers before you realize you've let go. It hits the mud face first. A dull, wet sound. Final. The screen flashes once. 5 million followers glowing white against cracked glass, then goes dark. You don't reach for it, because the dog is already walking away. Morning fog curls low over the ground, swallowing the dirt road inch by inch. The city noise you're used to, sirens, engines, voices shouting for attention, doesn't exist here. No horns, no notifications, just birds you can't name and the soft rhythm of paws pressing into wet earth. The dog doesn't look back. He never does when he's made up his mind. The white stripe down his face catches the pale light like a scar, like a signature. The same stripe that turned him into a thumbnail. The same stripe strangers recognize on the street, crouching to film before they ever say hello. You whisper his name, your voice feels out of place like shouting in a church. He pauses. Just for a second, one ear flicks backward, not toward you, toward the quiet behind you, toward everything you dragged him through. Then he keeps walking. This is where the story is supposed to end. You already know how it looks on screen. The fallen phone, the abandoned creator, the dog choosing freedom over fame. It's perfect, painful, algorithm gold. But this moment isn't content, it's consequence. And you didn't come here to film an ending? You came here because 3 weeks ago, when you told 5 million people you were taking a short break, the dog stopped sleeping through the night. 8 months earlier, you were kneeling in an alley that smelled like rot and rainwater, holding your phone out with shaking hands, whispering, "Hey buddy, it's okay. You hadn't planned to rescue anyone that day. You were chasing light." Golden hour between two buildings. A quick reel, urban decay aesthetic. The kind of clip that did okay, not great, but enough to keep you visible. Enough to keep the numbers from dropping. Then you saw him. He stood perfectly still near a dumpster tagged with peeling graffiti, ribs faint under dirt-matted fur, eyes locked on you with unsettling calm. Not fear, not hope, assessment. You'd filmed dozens of strays before. You knew the usual beats: flinch, retreat, bark, bolt. This dog did none of that. He tilted his head once, slow, deliberate, like he was deciding whether you were worth the effort. Your camera almost lowered itself. The first comment under that video read, "That dog looks like he understands everything." The second, "Please help him." You did what you'd learned to do. You helped, and you filmed. The food, the vet visit, the bath that revealed the white stripe like a miracle unveiling. The numbers exploded so fast, you thought the app was broken. 1 million followers in 6 weeks. 3 million by month 4. Brand emails piling up faster than you could answer. People didn't follow you, they followed him. They named him before you did. They analyzed his expressions frame by frame. They decided what he felt, what he meant, what he symbolized. You just held the camera. At first he slept, pressed against your chest at night, a solid, breathing weight that made it hard to move. His dreams were violent, legs twitching, breath stuttering, but he always woke calm, alert, watching. He learned routines faster than seemed normal. He knew when the camera came out. He knew when the comments were good. And slowly, almost imperceptibly, his tail stopped wagging unless the phone was pointed at him. The burnout didn't arrive loudly. It crept in through your hands first. You noticed it when you dropped your keys 3 times in one morning, fingers clumsy like they belonged to someone else. When your eyes skimmed, comments without reading them, words blurring into a single demand: more rescues. More tears, more transformation. People messaged you addresses: "Stray here. Go now. Why aren't you responding?" When you skipped a day, the tone shifted. Concern curdled into accusation. You told yourself it was pressure because the work mattered, because animals were being saved, because visibility was power. But the dog started circling at night, not pacing, mapping. He'd stand by the door at 3:07 a.m. every night, staring at the handle like it might turn on its own. When you reached for your phone, he'd step between you and it, body firm, eyes unblinking. The comments noticed. "Why does he look stressed? Is he okay? Some rescue dogs don't like cameras." You laughed it off in a story, joked about being dramatic. Then came the email. A brand wanted more edge. Real suffering, they said. Audiences respond to urgency. That night, the dog refused to eat. Not fear, not sickness, refusal. 3 days later, you told your audience you were taking a break. The video underperformed. The road to the abandoned village wasn't on any map you recognized. You found it because the dog pulled free of his leash for the first time since you'd rescued him. You chased him without thinking, lungs burning, shoes slipping on gravel, shouting his name until it fractured into something desperate and small. He didn't run, he led. Always just far enough ahead that you could see the white stripe flash between trees, always slow enough that you didn't lose him. The city fell away behind you piece by piece. Concrete gave way to dirt, streetlights to open sky, signal bars dropped from 4 to 1 to none. When you finally stopped, bent over with your hands on your knees, the air smelled like wet grass and something older. Something settled. That's when you saw the houses, collapsed roofs, windows without glass, doors hanging open like mouths that forgot how to speak, an abandoned village, and in the distance, barely visible through the mist movement, dogs, not strays, calm, clean, resting in the open like they belonged. The dogs stood at the edge of the road now, waiting, not urging, waiting to see if you'd follow without a camera. You looked down at your phone. No signal, no audience, no instructions. Just a cracked screen reflecting your face, tired, hollowed, unfamiliar. You dropped it. You stepped past the rusted road sign without reading what's left of the lettering. The dog does. He slows there, just for a breath, nose lifting, eyes scanning the skeletal houses ahead like he's checking names off a list only he can see. This isn't curiosity, it's recognition. Your shoes sink into mud softened by last night's rain. The sound is obscene in the quiet wet suction. Release, wet again. You become painfully aware of your body, every breath, every step, every second, without the familiar vibration of your phone telling you what matters next. The village smells wrong in a way that's hard to explain. Not decay, not neglect, order. Grass trimmed by something with teeth. Pathways worn smooth by repeated use, no trash, no bones scattered for scavengers. The houses may be empty, but the land is maintained, like someone is still listening. A low, chuffing sound pulls your attention left. A dog older, gray-muzzled, broad-chested rests in the doorway of a collapsed home. His eyes follow you without moving his head. No growl, no tension, just watchfulness. Then another, then 3 more scattered across the open square, bodies relaxed, ears flicking toward distant sounds you can't hear. They all look at your dog, and your dog lowers his head, not submission, greeting. Something presses behind your ribs, tight and heavy. You've filmed hundreds of dog interactions. You know dominance displays, pack hierarchies, trauma responses. This fits none of them. A woman steps out from behind what used to be a school building. She moves slowly, deliberately, as if suddenness has been trained out of her. Her clothes are clean but worn thin. Practical. Her hair is pulled back with a strip of faded fabric instead of elastic. She stops when she sees you. Her gaze goes first to your face, then to your dog. And something in her expression hardens, not with anger, but with recognition edged by exhaustion. "So," she says. Her voice is quiet, but it carries. "He finally brought you." The words land wrong. You open your mouth, nothing comes out. The dog sits at your side without being asked. That, more than anything, unsettles you. She introduces herself without offering her name. People here don't, you learn quickly. Names invite attachment. Attachment invites questions. Questions invite the outside. She gestures for you to follow, turning before you answer. You hesitate, then move, every instinct screaming that this is a terrible idea and a necessary one all at once. Inside the school building, the air is cool and smells faintly of antiseptic and wood smoke. Beds line the walls. Dog beds, handmade, clean, each with a folded blanket at the foot. On the far wall, photographs, not framed, not staged, printed on cheap paper, pinned with rusted tacks, dogs, before and after. You recognize the format instantly. The lighting, the angles, the same ones you use. Your throat goes dry. You step closer. A brindled pit mixed with a torn ear. A tripod shepherd, tongue lolling in the aftershot. A black mutt with a white stripe down his face. Your vision narrows. It's not him, but it could have been. "These were sent to us," the woman says, watching you carefully now, "by people who felt uncomfortable." You turn to her. "With what? With what happens when the cameras leave?" She walks to a table and lifts a folder, its edges soft with use. Inside are printed screenshots, comment sections, sponsorship emails, your world. She slides one page toward you. It's from your channel, not public. A DM thread you remember deleting. A handler offering to take over care during high-volume shoots. Promising compliance training. Faster results, cleaner stories, your pulse stutters. You didn't answer, she says. That's why he stayed with you as long as he did. The dog presses his side against your leg. Steady, anchoring. You're saying, you stop, start again. You're saying he's been here before. She shakes her head once. No, he brings others here. The words echo. She explains slowly, carefully, like someone who's had this conversation go badly before. Some dogs, especially the smart ones, the observant ones, learn patterns faster than people expect. They learn when attention hurts, when praise costs something, when rescue becomes performance. A few of them run, a few of them find this place. And a few, she says softly, lead others back. Your stomach twists. You think of nights he blocked the door, the way he watched the phone instead of the window, how his body went rigid whenever your voice shifted into the bright, performative tone your audience loved. You think he was, what, saving me? Her eyes soften, just a fraction. No, she says. I think he was saving himself. Silence stretches between you. Outside, dogs bark, not frantically but in layered rhythms like conversation. You can stay, she says finally, for tonight. No filming, no posting, no proof. And then? She shrugs. Then you decide who you are without witnesses. Your chest locks mid-inhale. For the first time in months, there is no correct answer to optimize for. The dog exhales, a long, slow breath you feel through your jeans. He lies down, here. That night, you sleep on the floor of the old classroom, wrapped in a blanket that smells like sun and soap. Dreams come in fragments, a phone ringing underwater, a crowd clapping with no faces, the white stripe disappearing into trees. You wake before dawn to the sound of paws moving softly around you. The dog is awake, sitting upright, watching the doorway, waiting, not to leave. Morning doesn't arrive here all at once, it seeps in. Light leaks through cracked windows in thin, deliberate lines, illuminating dust motes that drift like they have nowhere else to be. Somewhere outside, a kettle whistles, not sharp, patient. The sound of someone who expects to be heard eventually. You sit up slowly, joints stiff from the floor. The dog is already awake. He isn't watching the doorway anymore. He's watching you. His head tilts just enough to ask a question without words. You answer by standing. Outside, the village reveals itself fully for the first time. It's larger than you thought, not sprawling but intentional, arranged in a loose curve, all facing inward toward a shared green space, a well at the center, a garden along the eastern edge, soil dark and recently turned. Dogs move freely through it all, not wandering, participating. One trots past carrying a rope toy toward the shade. Another waits patiently as the woman from last night checks a bandage on his leg. A pair of younger dogs wrestle near the well, stopping instantly when an older one lifts his head. Not in command, but in reminder. Your dog walks among them like he belongs. No tension in his shoulders, no constant scanning for cues. Just ease. Your chest tightens, not sharply, but with a slow, spreading pressure that makes it hard to tell where breath should go next. You follow him toward the garden. A man kneels there, hands deep in soil, humming something tuneless. He glances up when you approach, nods once, then goes back to his work without asking who you are or why you've come. That, more than suspicion, unsettles you. You're used to being recognized. The woman joins you, handing over a chipped mug filled with something that smells like mint and smoke. Drink, she says. It helps with the noise. You almost laugh. The noise is internal, always has been. You sip anyway. The heat spreads down your throat, grounding. For a moment, your hands stop wanting to fidget. How many dogs, you ask? She considers. Depends on the season. Depends on the internet. You look at her. She gestures toward the far end of the village, where a low structure has been reinforced with newer wood. Inside, you glimpse crates, not cages, stacked neatly, each labeled by hand. Dates, names, platforms, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube. Some labels are crossed out. Those are the ones who stay, she says. The crossed-out ones found somewhere else to land. Adopted, sometimes. She doesn't elaborate. Instead, she crouches beside a tan dog with cloudy eyes, rubbing his chest in slow circles. He leans into her touch, breath evening out. Most of them come with the same problems, she continues. Hypervigilance, Delayed responses. Obedience that looks impressive until you realize it's fear wearing a costume. Your stomach turns. You've praised that obedience on camera, called it amazing progress, so smart, so grateful. The words echo now, hollow. How do they find you, you ask? She glances at your dog. They don't, not at first. She explains that it starts small, subtle. Dogs refusing to enter certain spaces, avoiding rooms where filming happens, breaking leashes at very specific times. Patterns. They remember paths, she says, better than people think, and they watch each other. You picture your dog in the city park, ears pricked as another rescue passed by with a handler and a camera. You remember how he froze that day, body rigid, eyes locked. You'd thought he was distracted. You hadn't filmed it. Some of them escape, she continues. Some are abandoned once the story dries up, and some, she exhales, some are given away quietly to keep the brand clean. Your fingers curl around the mug. You're saying this place is a, what, underground railroad for dogs? A ghost of a smile flickers. If you need a metaphor, your dog sits beside you, tail brushing your ankle once. A single, gentle sweep. He doesn't look at the woman. He looks at the open space ahead, the path that leads out of the village or back to the road. Later, you help with chores. No one asks you to, but the work presents itself. Refill water bowls, carry blankets, walk with a nervous terrier along the perimeter until his steps stop skittering. You move without a script, and slowly something inside you loosens until you find the shed. It's small, tucked behind what used to be a church. The door sticks when you pull it open, wood swelling with age. Inside, shelves line the walls, cameras, old ones, new ones, some cracked, some pristine, chargers, tripods, lavalier mics tangled like dead vines. Your breath turns shallow. Pinned above the shelf is a handwritten list. What they leave behind. You recognize one of the cameras instantly. Yours, not the one you dropped, the backup, the one you'd lost months ago and assumed was stolen. Your palms betray steadiness as you reach for it. A memory surfaces, fragmented, a shoot gone wrong, the dog bolting when a drone buzzed too close. You'd been angry, distracted, focused on damage control. You don't remember setting the camera down, but it's here, meaning you've been here before, or close enough. Footsteps sound behind you. The woman stands in the doorway, not surprised to find you there. Some people come back, she says. They don't always remember. You turn slowly. What do you mean they don't remember? She doesn't answer right away. Outside, your dog barks once. Sharp, alert. The sound slices through the quiet like a warning. The woman closes the shed door behind her, not to trap you inside, but to keep something else out. Dust hangs in the air, disturbed. The smell here is sharper than outside. Plastic, old metal, stale electricity. You didn't stay long, she says at last. Most don't. Your fingers are still wrapped around the camera. It feels heavier than it should, like it's filled with something other than circuitry. I don't remember this place, you say. I know. That answer doesn't comfort you the way it should. She reaches up and pulls a small notebook from a hook by the door. Its cover is stained and soft with age, the corners curled. She opens it without ceremony and flips through pages filled with tight, slanted handwriting. Dates, names, descriptions. She stops at one entry and turns the book so you can see. Your name is there, not your channel name, not your handle, your real one. Below it, a single line, stayed 3 nights, left before dawn. Dog refused to go. The words sit on the page like an accusation. My dog? You say slowly. You mean? The one with the white stripe, she says. Yes. Your pulse pounds in your ears. He chose to stay. He chose to wait. That distinction matters more than you want it to. You think back to the weeks you barely remember, your sudden spike in uploads, the strange calm in your voice people praised as growth, the way your dog stopped appearing in frame as much. You'd told your audience he was adjusting. You were tired, she continues, not the kind of tired sleep fixes, the kind that makes people hollow. Her gaze doesn't leave your face. You said you didn't know how to stop once it started working. The shed feels smaller now. I came here for help, you ask. She nods. You didn't ask us to fix your channel. You asked how to tell when saving becomes taking. The question lands with a weight that bends something inside you. And? She closes the notebook. You didn't like the answer. Outside, your dog barks again. This time twice. Short, urgent. The woman turns toward the door immediately. "That's not normal," she says. "You follow her out into the open. The dogs in the square have shifted." Bodies that were relaxed are upright now, ears angled toward the tree line. Not panicked, but alert in a way that tightens your spine. A van sits at the edge of the road. White, unmarked, clean enough to look wrong here. Your mouth goes dry. You recognize the shape, the tinted windows, the way it's angled for a quick exit. A man steps out, phone already in his hand. He scans the village, eyes flicking from structure to structure, stopping when he sees you. Recognition flashes across his face, then relief. "There you are," he calls, voice practiced, friendly enough to carry. "We've been trying to reach you. Your dog moves in front of you without being told, not aggressive, protective." The man's gaze drops to him, then lifts again, assessing, calculating. "We were worried," he continues. "Your audience is worried. You vanished." He gestures vaguely, as if the world beyond the trees is a single concerned entity. "You got contracts," he says, "deadlines, people depending on you." Behind him, another figure shifts inside the van. You catch a glimpse of a crate stacked near the door. Your stomach lurches. "I'm on a break," you say. Your voice sounds steadier than you feel. The man smiles. "That's not really how this works anymore." The woman steps forward. "You need to leave," she says quietly. The man glances at her for the first time, irritation flickering. "This is private business." She doesn't move. "So is exploitation," she replies. The air thickens. Your dog growls, low, controlled. A sound you've never heard from him before. The man takes a half step back, hands lifting slightly, palms out. "No need for that," he says. "We're just here to talk." But his eyes never leave the dog. You see it then, clear as the fallen phone in the mud. This isn't about you. It never was. It's about reclaiming the asset that walked away. Your dog presses back against your legs, grounding you in the present. His body is warm, real, not a symbol, not a storyline, a choice. The woman leans close enough that only you can hear her. "This is where it always breaks," she murmurs. They either hand the dog over or they finally walk away. Your chest locks again, breath turning shallow. You look down at the white stripe, at the calm eyes that aren't asking. They're waiting. The man waits. He's good at that. You recognize the posture immediately. The loose shoulders, the patient half-smile, the stillness that pretends to be respect while quietly demanding compliance. You stood exactly like that in thumbnails, in apology videos, in sponsored honest conversations. Waiting always worked. Your dog doesn't move. His growl fades, not into silence, but into something lower. A vibration you feel through your legs rather than hear. A boundary drawn without spectacle. The man clears his throat. "Look," he says, tone shifting, softer now. "We're not the bad guys here. Nobody forced you to build what you built." He's right. That's the worst part. You helped animals, he continues. Millions of people saw that. Donations went up. Adoptions went up. You think that happens without momentum? The word momentum lands like a threat disguised as praise. "You can't just disappear," he adds. "Not with a dog like that." Your fingers curl into your palms. "A dog like that." You glance at the woman. She hasn't stepped closer, but she hasn't retreated either. Her stillness is heavier than confrontation. "What happens," you ask slowly, "if I say no?" The man's smile thins. "Then we tell your story without you." A flash, quick, invasive, clips cut together. Speculation videos, a narrative shaped by people who never met the dog, never felt his weight against their ribs at night. "He's better off with us," the man says, nodding toward the van. "We have trainers, facilities, professionals." Your dog's ears flick at the word trainers. He steps away from you, just one pace. Your breath falters, not from fear, but from the sudden absence of his warmth. He walks toward the woman instead, sits, presses his side against her knee. The choice is quiet. Absolute. The man notices. Something sharp crosses his face before he smooths it away. "Animals respond to confidence," he says quickly. "They get confused when their handlers are unstable." Unstable. You think of sleepless nights, refreshing analytics, of filming past exhaustion because stopping felt worse. Of the first time your dog flinched when you raised your voice, not in anger but in performance. The woman finally speaks. "You can't take him," she says. "He's not yours." The man laughs, a single breath of sound. "Everything online belongs to someone." behind him, the van door slides open, metal on metal. One of the dogs near the well barks. Another joins, then another. Not chaos, coordination, a ripple of sound moving through the village like a warning signal. Your pulse spikes. The man lifts a hand. "Easy," he says. "Not to you, to the dogs." That's when you see it. The device clipped to his belt, small, black, a sonic deterrent. Your dog reacts instantly, not panic, memory. His body tenses, muscles coiling, eyes hardening in a way that makes your stomach drop. This isn't his first time seeing that shape, that frequency. Your vision tunnels. "Don't," you say. The word comes out raw, unpolished, raw, unpolished. The man hesitates, fingers brushing the device. "You want him calm?" he says. "This helps." "No," you repeat, louder. You step forward before you think better of it, placing yourself between him and the dog. Your heart slams so hard it feels like it might crack something. For a moment, nobody moves. Then the woman whistles. Not sharp, not commanding, low, melodic. The sound carries across the square, weaving through the dogs like a thread, pulling them into alignment. They don't charge, they don't scatter, they stand, still, watching. The man looks around, suddenly aware of how outnumbered he is, how alone. "This isn't over," he says, backing toward the van. "You think walking away makes you noble? It just makes you irrelevant." The van door slams shut. Tires grind against dirt. The vehicle disappears down the road, swallowed by trees and fog. Silence rushes back in, thick and ringing. Your legs give out. You sit down hard in the mud, hands braced behind you, chest heaving. Breathing becomes a conscious act. Inhale, hold, release, each one scraped raw by adrenaline. Your dog approaches slowly, carefully. He sniffs your face, your hands, your chest, checks you like you've checked him 100 times. Then he leans into you, full weight, nearly knocking you over. Your fingers bury into his fur. It's damp, warm, real. You press your forehead against the white stripe. Something inside you cracks, not loudly, but completely. Later, as the village settles again, the woman sits beside you on the steps of the old church. "They always come once," she says, "sometimes twice." "What happens if they come back?" you ask. She looks at your dog, now asleep with his head on your thigh, breath slow and even. "Then you'll have to decide whether this is a refuge," she says, "or a hiding place." You swallow. The question hangs there, unanswered. Night returns without ceremony. No neon glow, no distant sirens arguing with sleep. Darkness settles over the village like a held breath, and for the first time in years, nothing asks you to perform inside it. You sit by a low fire with two others whose names you still don't know. Sparks lift into the air and vanish. Someone hands you a bowl of stew, simple, thick, filling. You eat slowly, surprised by hunger that isn't driven by stress or schedule. Your dog lies at your feet, not curled tight like before, stretched out, exposed, trust made visible. The woman watches him when she thinks you're not looking. "He hasn't slept like that in a long time," she says. Your throat closes, not sharply, but with a dense, sinking weight. "I didn't know," you say. She nods once, not forgiving, not accusing. Most don't. Later, when the fire burns low and the others drift away, you sit alone with the crackle of embers and the soft rhythm of your dog's breathing. The stars overhead look too sharp, too numerous, like the sky has been overcorrected. You pull your phone from your pocket. The cracked screen catches starlight. Still dead, still silent. Your fingers hover over it anyway, muscle memory twitching, waiting for validation that never comes. A sound behind you makes you turn. The man from the garden soil-stained hands, quiet eyes, stands a few paces back. He holds something out, a small hard drive. "We keep records," he says. "For patterns." You take it. It's warm from his hand. Patterns of what? Of when things break. You sit up straighter. Inside one of the houses, he plugs the drive into an old laptop powered by a generator that hums like an insect. The screen flickers, then fills with folders, dates, handles, channels. Your stomach sinks as you scroll. Not just rescues, creators, rise timelines, peak metrics, drop-offs. Notes appear alongside each one. Dog became reactive after brand deal. Dog surrendered quietly after engagement dipped. Handler reported burnout. Continued filming. You stop scrolling. Your name appears again, this time with video thumbnails you don't remember uploading. Your voice plays through tinny speakers. Bright, controlled, empty. Your dog in frame, sitting perfectly still, eyes tracking something just out of view. The man pauses the video. "Watch him," he says. "You do. Not the tricks, not the obedience. The pauses. The way his tail stays motionless while his mouth pants. The fraction of a second delay before he responds to your cue, like he's waiting to see if obedience is still required." Your stomach twists. "He's not enjoying it," you whisper. "No," the man says. "He's enduring it." The word slices cleanly. Your dog shifts beside you, head lifting, eyes flicking to the screen. His ears flatten, not fear but anticipation. You close the laptop hard. "I thought I was different," you say. "Everyone does." Outside, wind moves through the trees, carrying distant sounds from the road. A reminder that the world hasn't stopped just because you stepped away from it. "You can leave tomorrow," the woman says from the doorway. "You hadn't noticed her there. They won't follow you again for a while." "And him?" you ask. She looks at your dog. "He'll stay," she says, "if you let him." Your chest locks. The idea lands like a bruise. "You mean permanently?" She nods. "This place is for dogs who don't want to be seen anymore." You look down at him. The white stripe, the calm eyes, the steady breath. "You're saying I should walk away," you say. "I'm saying you already taught him how to survive the spotlight," she replies. "Now you have to decide whether you can survive without it." Sleep doesn't come easily. You lie on the floor again, staring at the ceiling beams, listening to every shift of air. Your dog sleeps near the door this time, not guarding, not blocking, positioning himself between you and the exit, as if he knows. Just before dawn, you sit up. The realization doesn't arrive gently. It hits with clarity sharp enough to hurt. If you stay, you'll be safe. If you leave, you'll be tested. And if you take him with you, you might break him again. Your dog opens his eyes, meets your gaze, not pleading, waiting. You leave before the sun clears the trees, not running, not sneaking, just leaving. The village is quiet in that fragile hour when night hasn't fully released its grip. Dogs sleep in doorways, on porches, in the open square. None of them stir as you shoulder the borrowed pack the woman left by the steps. Water, food, a folded map that isn't really a map, just landmarks sketched in charcoal. Your dog walks beside you until the edge of the village. Then he stops. The boundary is invisible, but you feel it, the way you feel a cliff before you see it. You stop too. Fog clings low to the ground, turning the road ahead into something unfinished. Somewhere far away, an engine hums, civilization breathing. You crouch. The dog steps forward, then back. Forward again. His ears tilt, recalibrating. He looks at the road, then at the village, then at you. This is the first time he's hesitated since you followed him here. Your chest tightens, not with panic, but with the ache of wanting something you know you can't ask for. "You don't have to come," you say quietly. The words feel wrong in your mouth, too small for what they carry. He sits, calm, decided. The woman's words return, uninvited. "This place is for dogs who don't want to be seen anymore." You think of cameras, of comments demanding updates, of the way the world reaches for what it loves and squeezes until it stops breathing. You think of the van. You remove the leash from your pack. Set it on the ground between you. The metal clip glints once, catching the growing light. Your hands feel heavy as you stand. "I don't know who I am without you," you admit. The confession cost you more than any apology video ever did. The dog rises and steps closer, presses his forehead briefly against your leg. Not comfort, acknowledgement. Then he turns, walks back toward the village. Each step lands soft but final. You don't follow, you don't call his name. You stand there as the fog thins, watching the white stripe recede until it blends into morning. Something inside you doesn't shatter, it empties. The city greets you with noise and impatience. Your phone regains signal an hour down the road. Notifications flood in all at once, relentless, merciless, missed calls, voicemails, emails marked urgent. You don't open any of them. Instead, you check one thing, your channel. Speculation has metastasized. Where is the dog? Is this fake? You owe us answers. Someone has leaked an old clip. The one from the laptop. The one where your voice sounds wrong and the dog looks distant. It's already stitched into reaction videos, dissected by people who've never held him, never felt his ribs move under their hands. Your throat tightens, words dying before they reach your tongue. This is the part where you used to respond, where you shape the narrative. You don't. Days pass. You sleep on a friend's couch, then another. You walk the city without filming it, without translating it into angles and beats and thumbnails. Your hands still twitch for your phone sometimes. The habit doesn't die quickly, but something else grows in its place: space. One afternoon, you receive a message from an account with no profile picture, just coordinates, and a single line: "He's settled." Your chest locks mid-inhale. You don't reply. You don't need to. Weeks later, another message arrives. A photo. Not staged, not centered. Your dog lies in tall grass, eyes closed, body loose, surrounded by other dogs in a patch of sunlight. The white stripe is still there, but it's not the focus. Peace is. You set the phone down carefully, like it might break something if you move too fast. Outside, the city keeps shouting. For the first time, you don't answer. You return to the village in the rain, not because someone asked you to, not because a story demanded resolution, because the silence finally did. The road looks different now. Not unfamiliar, unfinished. Like something you walked away from without closing the door. Water streaks the windshield, blurring the trees into long, bending shapes. The coordinates from the message sit memorized in your head. You don't check the phone. When you step out of the car, the smell hits first. Wet earth. Green. Alive. The dogs sense you before you see them. Movement ripples through the grass, shapes rising slowly, heads lifting. No alarm, no rush. Recognition without possession. You follow the sound of water toward the well. That's where you see him. He's older than he was when you left. Not dramatically, but enough that the difference lands like a quiet ache. His fur is thicker, his body heavier with muscle earned, not forced. The white stripe is still there, but softer now, edges blurred by sun and time. He doesn't run to you. He doesn't freeze. He stands, watches, decides. Then he walks over, not fast, not slow, measured. You kneel instinctively, rain soaking into your jeans, and he stops just short of touching you. His nose lifts, breathing you in like a question asked one last time. Your voice doesn't work. Your hands don't reach. You let him choose. He steps closer, leans his shoulder into your chest. The impact knocks the air from your lungs, not violently but completely, like you've been hollowed out and refilled in a single motion. Your fingers sink into his fur, no tension, no scanning. He smells like grass and wood smoke and rain. The woman stands nearby, hood pulled up, watching without interrupting. "He came back on his own," she says softly. 3 weeks after you left." Your head lifts. "Back here." She nods. He walked the road, alone, found his way. The realization unfolds slowly, piece by piece. He didn't stay because he was afraid to leave. He stayed because he knew where he belonged. And the others, you ask? She gestures around the village. Some leave, some stay, some move between places. Your dog steps away from you now, turning in a slow circle before lying down at your feet. Not possessive, not clinging, anchored. "This place isn't an ending," she continues. "It's a correction." Rain taps against leaves, against your shoulders, against your shoulders. You look at the dogs scattered across the green, at the people working quietly among them, at the absence of cameras, of angles, of urgency, and it clicks. The discovery isn't about the sanctuary, it's about choice. The dark truth everyone misses because it doesn't trend. Rescue doesn't mean ownership. Saving doesn't mean spotlight. Love doesn't require witnesses. You pull your phone from your pocket. It powers on. 1 bar of signal. The screen lights up, not with notifications, but with your reflection. Older, quieter, less certain. You open the camera, frame the village. Then you lower the phone. Turn it off. Let it fall from your hand into the mud. It lands face down beside the well, rain darkening the screen. Your dog lifts his head, watching it fall. Then he looks back at you, not waiting, walking, toward the others, toward the green. You follow, not as a creator, not as a savior, just present. You stay, not forever, not temporarily, just long enough for staying to stop feeling like an act of resistance. Days in the village don't announce themselves. They don't rush you awake with alarms or demand proof of productivity. Morning comes with birds settling on roofs and dogs stretching into the light, bodies loose, unguarded. You wake early anyway. Old habits linger. But instead of reaching for your phone, you walk. The path around the village has worn smooth under paws. You learn its curves by feel, where the ground dips, where roots rise just enough to catch careless feet. Dogs join you without ceremony, falling into step, leaving when they've had enough. Your dog walks with you sometimes, other times he doesn't. Both feel right. You help where you're needed, repair a fence, carry water, sit with a trembling hound until his breathing slows. No one praises you for it. No one films it. The work still matters. One afternoon, you sit with the man from the garden as he repairs a cracked solar panel. He doesn't look at you when he speaks. People think disappearing is the hardest part, he says. It's not. You wait. It's living without an audience once you've trained yourself to need one. The words settle slowly. You think of the city, of how silence there felt like failure, of how every quiet moment begged to be filled, explained, monetized. Here, silence just exists. A week in, you walk to the edge of the village again, the same invisible boundary. This time, your dog doesn't come with you. He watches from the grass, head resting on his paws, eyes half-lidded but aware, comfortable enough not to follow, secure enough not to worry. The leash still lies where you left it weeks ago, metal dulled by rain. You pick it up, turn it over in your hands, then you hang it on a nail by the old school door. Not discarded, retired. That night, you record something, not a video, a letter. You write it by lantern light, pen scratching slowly across paper that resists you at first, then gives in. You don't explain everything, you don't justify. You say what you learned, you say what you did wrong, you say what you're no longer willing to do. When you're done, your hand aches and your eyes burn, but the words feel placed like stones set carefully in a river. You mail it the next morning from the nearest town. No thumbnails, no edits, just truth unoptimized. Weeks later, responses trickle back through borrowed internet and secondhand messages. Some people rage, some accuse, some leave, but others, quietly, privately, thank you, not for saving a dog, for stopping, for naming something they couldn't articulate. The village doesn't celebrate this. Life continues. One evening, as the sun sinks low and turns the grass gold, your dog approaches you carrying something in his mouth, a stick, chewed, crooked, imperfect. He drops it at your feet and steps back, tail lifting once in a restrained arc. An invitation. You laugh, a sound that surprises you with its ease, and throw it. He runs, not frantically, not to impress, just because he can. As he returns, dust kicking up behind him, you understand something with a calm certainty that doesn't need words. You didn't lose him. You returned him to himself. And in doing so, you found a way back to your own life. The morning you leave, nothing dramatic happens. No speeches, no lingering looks meant to stretch the moment. Just fog lifting slowly from the grass, dogs rising one by one as the day takes shape around them. You pack lightly. You've learned the difference between what's necessary and what was once used to fill space. The woman walks with you to the edge of the village. She doesn't offer advice. She never has. She just hands you a small envelope, edges worn from being opened and closed too many times. Don't read it until you're gone, she says. You nod. Behind her, your dog stands. He doesn't approach. He doesn't retreat. He watches with the calm certainty of someone who understands. Endings are only frightening when you don't trust what comes after. You crouch anyway, not to call him, just to be closer. His ears flick. He considers you for a long moment, then steps forward, placing his forehead briefly against yours. A gesture so soft it almost feels imagined. Not goodbye, balance. Then he turns, walks back toward the green where the others wait. No hesitation, your chest tightens, but this time the feeling doesn't demand action, it just asks to be felt. You walk away without looking back. The city doesn't welcome you. It barely notices. Your channel goes quiet, not deleted, not rebranded, dormant. The algorithm moves on quickly, the way it always does. Something newer replaces you, louder, hungrier. At first, the silence feels like standing outside your own house, keys lost, realizing you don't remember how to get in. Then, slowly, it becomes room. You take work that doesn't require a face. Editing, writing, helping smaller rescues build systems that don't depend on spectacle. You say no more often than yes. When people recognize you, it's rarely how you expect. They don't ask about views, they ask about the letter, about why you stopped, about the dog. You answer honestly, he taught me when to walk away. Some understand, some don't. That stops mattering. 1 year later, you return to the edge of the road where everything shifted. The mud has dried into cracked earth. Wildflowers push through places that were bare before. You stand there quietly, hands in your pockets, breathing air that no longer feels borrowed. You open the envelope the woman gave you. Inside is a single photograph, not of your dog, of you, taken from a distance you don't remember allowing. You're sitting on the ground, back against the well, phone forgotten beside you, watching dogs move through sunlight like it belongs to them. On the back, written in the same tight handwriting as the notebook, "This was the moment you stopped asking to be seen." You fold the photo carefully, put it back. When you turn to leave, you notice something in the grass near the road. A phone. Not yours. Newer, uncracked, screen lit with notifications climbing endlessly. Someone else has dropped it. For a second, habit twitches. Then you step around it. The road ahead is quiet. And somewhere beyond it, in a village that doesn't need proof, a dog with a white stripe runs through green grass without anyone counting how many people are watching. You walk on. Not viral, not famous, whole.